Alright, if we're lucky we're recording, we'll see what happens. So, this is the input shaft for the 300SL gearbox. We have it in the lathe, we have it on a live center so that we can center it up easy. And what we've done is we've used chemical bluing to color the teeth of the gears. And what we're going to do is we're going to engage the lathe and we're going to use the file and we're going to file the top of the teeth, and that'll remove the bluing on the high spots, and we'll be able to see how the tops of the teeth, which should be smooth and even, are actually distorted and have various different chunks and pits in it from wear and trash going through the gearbox.
Here's one particular chunk right here that's going to become more visible. That's a divot right there.
Yeah.
And we've got some deformation right here. And what Steve was suggesting is that due to trash going through here or whatever, the teeth on the main shaft, on the counter shaft, are no longer meshing where they're supposed to down here in the middle of the tooth. They are instead meshing and catching up here where we've got material deformed, almost mushroomed over. And so we're going to try to get the crankshaft grinder to clean the tops of these teeth up and get down to good square metal.
Right, and reprofile this edge so that as the gears come in and out of mesh, they do it smoothly instead of bumping over those parts where the metal has been distorted. With the gear, you can hear the fact that it...
Is that enough?
I don't know, you have to turn it off. We have to look for the... You can see how it's not contacting evenly all the way across.
So we've got, for instance, got a little point of contact right here. Got some right here, and on this edge right here, nothing over here, nothing over here, some right here. And then we got the contact right down here. And again, we got there's contact here, but nothing back down here. So we're trying to make it to where you can have even contact and something square for those teeth, for the two gears to hit against.
Alright, and we've taken it out of the lathe and we've come over to the counter shaft. So we have the main shaft, input shaft, and the counter shaft here. This is on your fourth gear, and what we're dealing with is the way the gears actually mesh when they're actually physically engaged with each other. It's probably going to be easier to see from this side. And the issue stems, we think, where's our pointer?
Let me get it on my pocket. Here you go.
It's not that the tooth is bottoming in the groove that's making the noise. What we think is that where the rounded profile here is, as the gear comes in and out of mesh, because the gear tooth is damaged, that isn't a smooth surface, and so as it rolls across that surface, it's making the rumble because it's hitting bumps. And if you look at the gear teeth, let me back up just a little bit and see if this focuses. Autofocus cameras, there you go. If you look at the gear teeth, you can see, like right here is a big burr on this gear tooth. And that's right where the teeth mesh and come in and out of contact as they rotate. And we think that the noise is coming from these rough spots as the gear teeth are engaging and disengaging as they rotate. So we're going to clean all this stuff up, and hopefully we'll get it so that as it rolls together, it's smooth. You can see we've been playing with this, and you can see on this tooth some of the bluing has transferred off of the gear onto the tooth, and you can see that's right on the very edge of the tooth. Well, gears aren't designed to have the load on the very edge like that because that's the weakest part of the tooth. The load is supposed to be down in the meat of the tooth, so that it provides a good bearing surface and it doesn't wear out prematurely. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and these surfaces.
All right, so we've gone ahead and just temporarily just kind of set the counter shaft down in the case so that you can get a reference. The input shaft goes in the front and then ends up going down and engaging down there, and that's your fourth gear, and that's where we have our primary rumble. And we can't change the distance between the gears because we have a ball bearing that is a precision bearing that fixes the center of the shaft there, and a ball bearing that's a precision bearing that fixes the center of the shaft there. So there is no way to change the gear mesh, which is another reason why we think it's relative to the teeth, because they can't get too close together because it's physically impossible, because you can't move anything to do that. And then we have here the main shaft cluster with everything else that's assembled, and all the gears on it turn nice and freely.
So we can assemble transmissions. We do know what we're doing. Yeah.
This one just coasts nicely because it doesn't have any, but we're suffering, you can see the first gear, second gear has quite a bit of damage on the teeth on it as well.
And then notice the difference in the wear here. This appears to be new, and this appears to be new, and the wear on this one is tremendous.
Yeah, you can see this gear almost has hardly any wear on it at all, first gear, compared to second gear.
Which has actually been beat up pretty heavily.
Right, so somebody's been in this gearbox before, but we're predominantly worried about we're worried about all of them. But as you said when you were talking to Will on the phone, you spend most of your time in fourth gear, and if it's making a whole bunch of drony noise and grinding itself into oblivion in fourth gear, then it's not going to last long. So we're doing what we can to fix it.